I'm Sean Rugless. I am the chair of United. I'm also a business owner, the founder and chief strategist of the Catalyst Group. There's something that spurs me, and it's a quote from an American author. And what he said was, whomever controls the media and the images ultimately controls the culture. And so there was a point in time in which we started seeing a lot of disparaging images and messaging come out of advertising and media. And for the life of me, I kept thinking about, well, why is that happening? When I worked across my clients, I didn't see that anything was intentional. It just means that we had a blind spot. But as I dug a little deeper, what I found was, while 1 out of 2 Americans in major cities are an ethnic race, 9 out of 10 people who are creating messages for them are not. And so what we have is that we have an opportunity to change our culture. We have an opportunity to change society. We have an opportunity to change the way people look at everyone just by getting more insight into the advertising and creative that we do. So that's what spurred me to begin to start working with United. The key to brand growth is to appeal to a broader swath of consumers. At the end of the day, nothing grows if you're not be able to touch every segment within our consumer base or in our market. So what we want to do is we have to reach all and understand the nuances of each. And so while we're reaching all with media and advertising, design, and all those things like that, there are nuances as it relates to what people will receive and what resonates with them because of their culture and their footing. So the goal is to get better work, right? The way we get better work is that we can employ and engage those who have the shared experiences and the same voice of those that we're trying to market and have a conversation with. And so what we're looking to do is increase the pipeline of creativity, pipeline of skills, pipeline of shared experiences and cultural experiences into other firms that ultimately then service the client. And so that's the goal for United, to diversify the pipeline, not just in race, but always in skill, capability, and great access to individuals that have talents that they can bear and make it in this industry. I think it's really about creating a certain level of exposure and experience for individuals who can see themselves in our industry for long periods of time. I remember when I first started P&G and worked on several brands, but I always was the one out of however many that looked like me. And then when I left P&G and went over to the other side of the table and worked at a global design firm, I was 1 out of 100 employees at that firm. But yet I had the skill set, the capabilities, those type of things. But in those environments, it suppressed my thought and my contribution. And so when I think about that, it's not just merely about just getting the job or getting the pipeline or the internship. What we have to do is create a culture inside of these agencies, inside of these marketing companies, inside of these spaces that cultivate and bring out the minds and hearts of individuals so they can contribute the work. The interesting part about the creative services industries is that unlike automobiles where everything is built from a screw or a nut or a piece of metal, our core product is our human experience. And so in some way, shape, or form, we have to create an environment that allows people to unleash all of the desires, all of the vision, all of the artistry that's within them. And if we get the chance to do that, we'll get, again, better work, right? But we also have an opportunity to inspire someone else to seek a career in our industry that they probably never even thought about. The last piece around that is we also have to think about the impact that creative has, right? From even if you look at a stop sign, it's red. That was designed in a way that every time you see red, that means stop, right? So there is emotive power in what we do. There's motive power in design. There's emotive power in strategy. And so what we want to do is figure out a way to unlock that in a way that then shapes our culture, shapes our industry, and make better firms. And so that's why I'm proud of the work that we do. Some of the work we do is also benefiting our community. We have internship programs we've identified well-deserving students to accelerate their career, and that made a difference in their whole career trajectory. We work with Cincinnati Public Schools students. They had a pedestrian safety project we did a design sprint for, and that was great because all we did was take their vision and put professional skill set behind it, and they created their own PSA campaign that is getting funded potentially by the city of Cincinnati as well as Cincinnati Public Schools. So we're making a difference in the context of that. And then we're also then celebrating our achievements. And so during one of the festivals, I believe it was either Juneteenth but I think it was Juneteenth, we were able to then have a display in the community to show how what breakthroughs were happening in terms of Black creatives. Like the original Air Jordan was designed by an African American. The original Chrysler 300 was designed by an African American. The jingle, in terms of America's version of McDonald's, Loving It, was made by Pharrell, an African American. And so we had an opportunity to kind of celebrate those things and the things that we're walking by every single day that no one knows came from those individuals who, in some way, shape, or form, found themselves in a situation, in an environment in which they can unleash their full potential. And in that way, it makes the world better. So it's twofold. One, getting a pipeline of individuals who we think can shape the capabilities and offerings of a firm or a marketing product. The other part is then celebrating the impact that makes and having some pride in the things that we produce. Would I invite others to be part of United? The answer is absolutely yes. The last word that we use in our brand is called the collective. And we call it the collective primarily because of the fact that when we look at what we want to achieve, no one firm and no one discipline will be able to do that on their own. And so it's going to take a huge amount of work, a huge amount of collaboration to be able to then begin to change and shape our entire industry and create access and opportunity for those who may not even be aware that creative services or marketing or branding even exists. So I think the big part is, yes, we want to invite people to be part of what we do. We can be part of social change. We can be part of changing commerce. We can be a part of the significance of branding, marketing, and design, but we can't do it collectively. So I think if individuals have a skill set, a thought, a vision to contribute, we got room for it here at United. It makes me feel fulfilled. There are days where things happen and you're like, it's like a cloud and a weight on you, right? But then there are also those days where the sun breaks through the clouds. And in some way, shape, or form, when I see a student that we may have supported, or I see a firm embrace and deliver some work because they got somebody who had a shared experience that was able to then market and create a voice for that consumer in the work that they've done, I get inspired, right? And I also begin to start thinking there's nothing that we can't do. So there is a bit of joy that I get. There's also a bit of satisfaction that I feel when I see great things coming together. I'm an optimist in terms of my makeup. I think 1 + 1 can equal 5. And so with the work that we have done in United, even though that might be a mathematically challenging equation, we're seeing that happen every single day. So that's why it matters.